My fellow Ambazonians, dear compatriots, you can call me Ngiafon Malo. It is an honor for me to be chosen by Ambazonian youth on Ground Zero, kings, fons, traditional leaders, and ordinary people who have come together under the umbrella of the movement on Ground Zero for the liberation of Ambazonia, and have decided that I will be the one to represent their voice as their spokesperson, traditional and spiritual guide. I am here today to present to you for the very first time the movement on Ground Zero for the liberation of Ambazonia, MOGZLA. Today as well, I will be presenting to you some of the stakeholders in this movement and on Ground Zero. I wish to thank you, fellow Ambazonians and wonderful compatriots, for joining me in 2020. On behalf of the movement on Ground Zero for the liberation of Ambazonia, MOGZLA, I wish to extend my heartfelt appreciation for your tenacity and bravery during this period of hardship. We have been driven into a senseless war, which has claimed the lives of thousands of our family members, sent most of our relatives, friends, and neighbors into homelessness and desperation. While we confront these difficult moments, we must be strong, vigilant, understanding, kind, and uncompromising on what is right, no matter the difficulties. Before I dive into serious and exciting program and news for 2020 that MOGZLA has prepared for you, I would love to recognize some important personalities and groups belonging to our movement, as well as Ambazonians putting their all in this struggle. Let me first of all begin by recognizing the most important personalities in our communities: the fons, chiefs, traditional leaders. I also wish to recognize all revolutionary groups, and special thanks goes to all the restoration forces, ADF, AMF, the Red Dragon, and other brave and valiant forces on the ground that are stabilizing that territory that has been stabilized. I also send gratitude from MOGZLA to politicians on Ground Zero, lawyers and teachers with youth who have worked tirelessly and given their lives and everything for this cause. We thank you for your understanding and the stakes that you have raised to make sure that we refocus our efforts to find out who we are, what we want, what we need, and pursue it. It is therefore an honor for me to be here representing this great organization which is out to unite the people of Ambazonia and create a forum, a space for them and a territory which is called theirs. I wish to thank the Secretary General of the Movement on Ground Zero for the Liberation of Ambazonia, Secretary General Luke Brown, and MOGZLA's entire membership for honoring us with this presentation of its collaborating restoration forces. Please, you can read the complete presentation on our website at www.ambazonian.org. I wish to thank especially Luke Brown for his tireless effort to put together the forces, the different forces and groups on Ground Zero, to bring together people to discuss civility, to discuss human rights, to discuss bravery and strength, training and organization of the people on Ground Zero. I doff my heart for you, for your honesty, for your love for your people, for your intelligence, for the incredible work you are doing, your collaborative spirit, and the love that every single person I have met and talked to have for you. This presentation covers a brief introduction of RF Restoration Forces identification, specialty, arm categories, manpower, organization, achievements, funding, and problems. Let me honor the Ambazonian Restoration Forces, ALF, of Ngokachunja County in the Northern Zone. Founded by Chairman of the movement and General Churchwell Ngwatangi, after the declaration of a war on Ambazonia by President Paul Biya of French Cameroon. The ALF is among the most dominant forces in Ngokachunja County with over 15,000 Amba soldiers covering 13 camps. The force spreads across 13 villages of the county, with each village having a single commander and armed mostly with den guns, serious destructive rifles including AK-47 and locally made explosive and products that are valiant and strong in destruction. General Shao Mao serves as Major General of the ALF with other commanders. The ALF is specialized in ground combat against occupational forces, camp mobilization, creation of weapons and tools for the warfare, and liberation of the territory. I wish to thank and recognize on behalf of MOGZLA, the Ambazonia Anaconda Forces, founded in Manyo County, Southern Zone, Ambazonia of the O2 Barracks on the Akok-Mamfe Highway, border of Ajaso. This was founded by Commander Anaconda, as he is preferred to be called. The Anaconda forces are also specialized in combat operations in highly effective creation of and processing of weapons for the warfare, dynamite explosive. The battalion uses much physical force for self-defense. The forces now operate in 3 main camps with over 500 members. They are a force basically supported by the local population in the village. I wish to send my recognition to the Bui Warriors, founded by late General Osairu of Bui County, also known as Land of the Nsot people in the Northern Zone. The Bui Warriors are among the Ambazonia's most dominant restoration forces with an enormous manpower contained in several camps. The Bui Warriors have over 2,000 forces defending, with many more willing to join the ranks. The Bui warriors produce a diverse range of explosives able to destroy any ground carrier used by the forces of occupation, armed vehicles, trucks, pickups, you name it. They maintain a very high spirit in the defense of the territory. I wish to recognize the Tabukwifo RF of Mankon. The people of Mankon will identify the Tabukwifo RF as the chief's warrior of the chief soldier, the guardians of Mankon Royal Palace. With Commander Trouble leading the forces, the Tabukwifo is an active self-defense force in Mankon of Mezam County and is responsible for much of the activity around the central town and county headquarters of Bamenda. They are specialized in combat operations against occupational forces and are frequently in gunfire exchange. The Widikum Restoration Forces make up part of the local restoration forces of the Momo County in the Northern Zone. Late General Sebastien led the forces under the administration of the LGA, with Commander Ghislaine Nkonda as defense chairperson. Widikum can be remembered for the school that was set ablaze by LRC military on grounds that it was serving as a camp for restoration forces. The WRF engages the occupier in regular ambush, close confrontation, and guerrilla warfare with a manpower of 250 soldiers spreading across 5 main camps. We wish to recognize the Bali Restoration Forces in Mezam. Bali had been among the most embattled and bloody areas of the northern zone of Ambazonia, with the restoration forces engaging the occupier in several battles across the landscape. With restoration forces organized under different leadership, Bali is home to late General Boss Acid and Koraman. General David leads a squadron to train restoration forces and provide good mobilization. The Bali Restoration Forces are spread across 5 camps with about 1,000 forces and have brought heavy losses on the occupier in several battles. We recognize in the house Cross and Die RF in Tanka, founded by Colonel Cross in Mezam County in North Zone. The Cross and Die are a force and fairly sophisticated and widespread restoration forces operating their bases across a number of localities and in Mezam County, including most especially the Bali and Mankon LGAs. They have been in constant battle with the occupying forces and have been doing an enormous service to keep the said area ungovernable and impenetrable to the French Cameroon forces. They operate sophisticated weapons, including locally made explosives. The Cross and Die holds a good reputation for enforcing order and brotherhood among Amba soldiers, often intervening in situations to curb harassment, injustice in civilians by the other forces. The movement on Ground Zero has in the past month secured the release of a number of civilians kidnapped at different periods and locations, thanks to collaboration with one of the unit's valiant commander, AGZ, also referred to as Almighty or Pa. We are sending our special recognition to the Special Forces of Ngoketunjia County, founded by Colonel James Braddock. The Special Forces of Ngoketunjia are sophisticated restoration forces involved in logistics operation, community mobilization, and combat against forces of occupation. The Special Forces are great contributor to the outstanding defense of Ngoketunjia County along with the Ambazonian Liberation Forces, ALF. The Special Forces also push exclusive logistics operation with forces in other counties like Ndonga and Mantung Steel in the Northern Zone, and forces in other parts of Ambazonia like the Red Dragon. The manpower of the Special Forces should be well above 1,000 soldiers. We wish to send our heartfelt appreciation to the Nkambe Restoration Forces for joining our ranks and for withstanding the enemy. The Nkambe Restoration Forces in Montgomery County operates in a less enabling environment owing to excessive politicking and enemy military presence. The county is characterized by very remote village and rural poverty and only a large rural population, which makes operation and mobilization difficult for restoration forces. The forces are armed with crude tools for self-defense and operate small dispersed units around the county to survive enemy pressure. The case of Nkambe Restoration Forces in Donga Mountain County as a whole is one requiring serious attention because Ndonga Mountain is a strategically well-positioned county to Ambazonian. I will recommend that we take this particular county very seriously and make sure that we engage in activities that will protect the people of that part of the county. Let me take this moment now to recognize the Bafut 7 Qatar Defense Forces, led by General Qatar and Sufu, and a host of commanders across the fairly extensive LGA. The Bafut 7 Qatars are a fierce force operating in Mezam County of northern zone of Ambazonia. The restoration forces, who bear a historic label in the LGA, are engaged in diverse operations against forces of occupation, ranging from guerrilla to open confrontation with sophisticated rifles, also using locally made explosives, mobilizing the local population as well as liberating territory. The Bafut 7 Qatar is highly organized and reputable force with a manpower of well over 2,000 forces. The Bafut 7 Qatars exercise a great deal of control over territory and the masses and long put an end to colonial rule and administration in the area, also extending their influence to neighboring towns like Bambui and Bamenda. There are more other cooperating forces, including the Muyuka RFs and the Red Cross, that we have not included in this report. But we will make sure that on our website, we will list all the members, all the RF members and fighters on the ground that are members of MOGZLA. Fellow Ambazonians, I want to thank you for listening to us and for listening to these powerful members in this organization that are controlling the activities on ground zero. Let me take this moment now to present to you our program for 2020 and what we will love you to involve in, to put your weight, your time, your money, your effort, your hope, and your belief in it. Let me begin, first of all, by introducing to you the movement on ground zero for the liberation of Ambazonia. This movement and its founders have been there since the beginning of this revolution and the meeting in Boya. They were the ones who began this revolution and were sidelined at a certain point. But they have continually worked underground to make sure that things arrived where they are today. Out of frustration, the movement on ground zero for the liberation of Ambazonia was created to protect our people, to protect the youth who were being cut down during this revolution, to bring healing, special healing that forces, fighters, and soldiers cannot bring to the people. It is a movement that is inclusive. Whether you are a fighter, you are a bayam selam, a wine tapper, a doctor, a lawyer, an administrator, a politician, an opposition, whoever you are, as a member and a leader in Ambazonia, you can become a member so long as you will not bring betrayal, and so long as your intention is to liberate Ambazonia. This group came together to reorganize our people because we saw that the war was ravaging lives. And part of it was because people were not organized. People did not understand that they were attacked, they were at war, and needed guidance, and needed protection, and needed to protect themselves against danger. The deaths spurred MOGZLA to be formed by the youths on Ground Zero. The fathers, the mothers, the women, the men who came together with some chiefs, kings, funds, and traditional leaders and put together this forum, this movement, so that the movement can lead to the freedom of Ambazonian people, to the restoration of sanity, of order, of human rights, of respect of life, of respect of hierarchy, of respect of authority, of respect of the people of Ambazonia, and to improve the standards of living of the people. The movement on Ground Zero for the liberation of Ambazonia is not here to play politics. We are here to resolve a problem that IG has not been able to resolve. AGOVC has not been able to resolve. ADF has not resolved. SOCADEF has done nothing to resolve it. SCNC has struggled and is still struggling, but has not been able to resolve it. We are here to redirect this struggle and collaborate with all these forces, with all these groups, to make sure that we find a path that will lead to the resolution of this problem. We have been working on the ground to help our forces to curb deaths, violence, harassment, and kidnapping on Ground Zero. After 3 years of fighting, we realized that there was too much killing and disorganization on both sides. And our people were being led to places that was making no sense. We began recruiting forces and people to train the soldiers, especially the fighters on the ground, on how to understand the rules of war, human rights rules, the charters of the United Nations, and to understand what it means to be facing an enemy and respecting that enemy's life. We focused on reorganizing the masses and start focusing on training the masses, on educating the masses on how to understand the terrain of warfare, of how to understand defensiveness, on how to understand how to make it in such a situation, how to defend themselves, how to protect themselves, how to protect their homes, their families, their children, and how to be able to disarm anyone who is attacking them. There are skills that we are beginning to teach our people, including CPS, first aid. 3 months ago, when I began the guardianship of MOGZLA, we began introducing training. And most of the areas where we have executed our training in the past 4 months, the results have been phenomenal. The reports that came in from the field, the recording, the statistics show that no significant losses have been incurred by the forces that are exposed to our training in the past 3 months on ground zero. Compared to what has happened in the past 3 years, more than 12,000 people have been killed. And in just 3 months, the losses have dramatically reduced. This is not as a result of the politics in the streets of Swiss and America or Yaoundé. It is not as a result of the leaders who have been at war, distributing guns and shooting and killing and kidnapping and harassing people. It is as a result of the education and training that MOGZLA has begun to introduce the organization of our people, the teaching of our people of what to do and how to do it, that has saved lives. This was a test drive because we wanted to see if we can implement more of it so that we can achieve results and save the lives of our people. We have decided as one of our priorities to bring unity amongst Ambazonians. The infighting between AGOVC and IG is going to be our focus in 2020. We wish to make sure that both organizations and the rest of the organizations involved in this revolution find common ground. We will do what it takes to organize dialogues and meetings that will lead to a resolution of their problems so that we can unite as one force on a common goal. We will work with international communities, especially the United Nations, the United States, United Kingdoms, France, Germany, China, Japan, and those countries that are interested and are seriously involved in the relationship with our countries. We will consider proposals, suggestions, and various international laws and charters, so long as our rights to self-determination, total ownership, and use of our territory, resources, and people are respected. We will continue to assert all our natural and God-given freedoms. We will not compromise on any one of them, which we will be preserved, which will be pressured, whether we are pressured, manipulated, or put under duress to give up. We will not. Instead, we will continue to improve in securing the rest which are still being withheld by anyone, group, and government. Our diplomatic corps will make sure that the public relations of our people, our country, is well established so that mistakes of the past are corrected and solid pursuit and follow-up of international negotiations is established. All past effort by IG, AGOVC, and the rest has not yielded fruit. We wish to let the international community know that we are not living in isolation. We understand that countries, institutions, and organizations which are international are very important, and we respect them. We, Ambazonians, are by nature social and kind people. That is one of the reasons why we have been taken for granted and exploited. We will foster collaboration with the United Nations and its various agencies, other international organizations and countries willing to collaborate with us in resolving our conflict. We are not forgetting that the United Nations is considered responsible for the problems Ambazonians have since 1960 till today that has claimed the lives of thousands of our youth and displaced hundreds of thousands of people. The decision of the United Nations relating to our people and territory has led to the suffering, displacement, poisoning, and killing of tens of thousands of our youth, families, and friends, including burning of our villages, our homes, and destruction of property and our economy. It is incumbent on the United Nations to ensure that these atrocities stop, because the people of Ambazonia have not left their territory to go attack or terrorize anyone anywhere. But because of this error, we are being invaded. Our homes are burnt down. Our livelihood is destroyed. Our communities are destroyed. We are being exterminated. We expect the United Nations to work tooth and nail every day to make sure that this stops. We will collaborate and work with every country that sympathizes with us and wish to see our well-being. We will not compromise our lives to please any organization or anyone in the world. My fellow brothers and sisters, we will adequately plan and define what we really want, our options, and how to achieve them. It will certainly happen if we are serious. When there is no well-defined goals and objectives, everything will certainly be dysfunctional. We know this through the activities of IG, AGOVC, CIRCADEF, and all the other groups that have been on the ground since the time of this revolution began. That will change in 2020. My fellow Ambazonians, the following projects have been designated to be accomplished by the movement on Ground Zero for the Liberation of Ambazonia in 2020. We are establishing a special educational system for Ambazonians to be able to go back to school. This system will provide a means of education for our people, our children who have not been able to go to school in the past 3 years. We will make sure that in the next 3 to 6 months, our children will begin to go back to school, and slowly we will re-establish a very solid educational system that embraces our tradition, our customs, our culture, and international standards. We are excited to inform you that Our website will be up and running this month very fully, and then we're equipped with information and details on how you can survive the moment, create income, create economic stability, balance in your life. MOGZLA is working every day to provide social services and charity, not only to the local communities, but to the restoration forces as well. We are going to improve and extend our social services and charitable activities in the rest of Ambazonian territory. This means we will recruit and train civilians, including fighters, to deliver social services to our communities, organize our people, provide health, education, health services, provide food, shelter, encouragement, and other necessary services that our people need in times like this. We have created the House of Lords. We will establish and enforce the House of Lords all over our territory, which will be in charge of the social, traditional, customary, and spiritual well-being of villages, clans, and tribes. We are giving power and leadership of our people back to the kings who ought to best understand their villagers and their people. We will train and educate traditional leaders who meet the criteria of the House of Lords and membership. The House of Lords is going to be raised to a standard that it will involve in the decision making of our country, because they are leaders of clans and people that constitute groups that make up our country. We have to make sure that they are of the highest standard, the highest knowledge, wisdom, and traditional well-being of its people to be able to represent them. We have decided that in 2020, we will transform our defense and our defense forces all over Ambazonian territory. There is a reason why more than 12,000 people have died in Ambazonia in the past 3 years. There is lack of knowledge, lack of wisdom, lack of leadership, lack of training, lack of organization. The total chaos that has been generated by all what I've enumerated could only cause one problem: deaths, displacement, injuries, and calamities. MOGZLA has decided to focus on assisting forces and people, families, neighborhoods, counties to train, to educate themselves, to enhance their own lives, to wait for nobody, but to begin with themselves, to educate and train themselves on how to defend themselves, on how to survive, and how to create an economic system for themselves. Coordinate that with their families. Work with their families. Work with their communities. Work with their houses. Work with their people to make sure that there is a solid defensive system in the entire country. Even if we have defensive forces, revolutionary forces, restoration forces, every single family and individual supposed to understand tactics of war and self-defense. There is only one reason why La République forces are attacking us. There is only one reason why France and Paul Biya have the audacity to wake up and come attack us. They have evaluated us and realized we are imbalanced. We are not serious. We are compromising. We are corrupt. We can easily give up. They realize we are weak. We are not strong. We don't have fighting capabilities. We are disorganized. We are not together. And that if they attack us and endure for certain periods of time, we're going to give up. And they did. And they are enduring. They are insisting because they believe after studying over 60 years, they know that we will give in very soon. We in MOGZLA have evaluated all of this and have decided to change that. They will not have their way. We will train our people, whether they are forces or individuals, to be strong, to be aware, to be alert, to be mindful, to work, to make sure that they educate themselves, educate their families, educate their children, strengthen them, work hard, and we will defend ourselves. We will bring pride to our revolutionary forces. We will support them. We will provide what they need. We will help them defend us because they are not rebels. They are our fathers, our mothers, our brothers, our sisters, our children, our young ones who have been threatened and attacked. And they came out of their houses with their machetes and the den guns that we use in our funeral celebrations to defend themselves. They never went out to attack anyone. So it is incumbent on the movement on ground zero for the liberation of Ambazonia to help all these people who are not professional or chosen people to go out there and to be fighting as professional fighters, but who have decided to defend their families, their villages, and themselves because they have been attacked. We have decided that we will also provide them the skills and the abilities to defend themselves, to survive, to thrive, to make their own decisions, to be able to understand who is a liar, who is an exploiter, who is a politician, who is trying to use their situation to capitalize on it for themselves. MOGZLA has decided to provide serious training for anyone who wishes to be trained. And this training will extend and will expand. We know that after a year of this training, any of our soldiers, any of our fighters, any of our people who complete the training will be worth 7 of Ambazonian or 7 of La République soldiers. Fellow Ambazonians, we are dealing with Paul Biya, who has, in the past 60 years, in collaboration with former President Amadou Ahidjo, to assimilate us. He expressed last year, that they tried and failed. When he came to power, he brought in different institutions and machineries set up so that he can use them to destroy us, to assimilate us. The CPDM was imposed on us, and our land was stolen in Bamenda, and the CPDM Congress Hall was established in it. The CPDM was used as a tool, as a machinery to suppress us, to transform us, to corrupt us. And they effectively corrupted most of us, and that's why our revolution is divided. We still have the spirit of Paul Biya in us. And MOGZLA understands this. We are working to make sure that that spirit is dismantled slowly so that we regain our own spirit and use it to regain our lives. CPDM has been the machine that has been used to destroy us. And today it's being used as the machine to organize the killing, the raping, the burning, and the destruction of our people, resources, and economy. In 2020, we have decided that all those institutions that have been set up to assimilate us, which have lost their value, they have outlived their necessity, they have outlived their lifespan in Ambazonia, will have to be moved back to their owners where they belong. They are no longer needed in Ambazonia. We will begin work to help Paul Biya and his administration to slowly move all those institutions back to La République du Cameroon. We will do some of this peacefully if they collaborate with us, and we may use force if they choose not to collaborate with us. That is the message from the movement on Ground Zero for the liberation of Ambazonia. Fellow Ambazonians, we have a serious task at hand. We have a country and our people to build. We have our people to house. This problem is not the problem of somebody. It's our problem. It's our duty to resolve it. When we think that this problem belongs to someone out there, because we are not there experiencing it, it may reach us. When this problem began in 1960, just a couple of people were dealing with it and understood it. Unfortunately, they did nothing to resolve it at that level. They didn't take it seriously and they compromised. They left it to go on until it reached us. And in 1990, we woke up to the problem again with SCNC and other organizations, recognized the problem, and saw that our rights, our freedoms and liberties had been taken away and injustice had been imposed upon us. We agitated, but that agitation earned some of us money, positions. We compromised because Paul Biya has used us and taught us how to be compromised. And finally, we abandoned the cause. The machine continued to improve itself, improve strategies. And in 2017, it exploded again. And this time around, by 2020, more than 12,000 lives have been taken away by this same problem. Dear compatriots, 12,000 lives after 60 years, just in less than 3 years. Because 3 generations have not solved a problem that could easily be solved. It makes us look foolish. It makes us look irresponsible. It makes us look like compromisers. It makes us look like people who do not value their own lives, tradition, customs, spirituality, art, and existence. That's how the international community looks at us. That people will kill 4,000 youth, 4,000 of our youth, and we will want to compromise. We will be playing politics. We will choose money and power and fame over those lives and over our freedom of self-determination. That we will not sit down and think process, organize, set up intelligent people among us who are serious to pursue a cause that will bring all of us joy, freedom, liberty, and balance. We didn't do it. And if we do not collaborate, all of us, all the 8 million to 10 million Ambazonians, all of us collaborate in one way or another, bring our skills, our resources, our money, our know-how, our professionalism, our abilities together in whatever form or shape, unite in one common goal to bring an end to what is happening. We must do it. We cannot rely on anyone else. It is madness to have a problem and expect someone else to come solve it. To expect someone to come help instead of waking up and taking action and asking for help. We cannot be expecting governments of other countries to come solve our problem. We cannot be expecting United Nations and other organizations to come solve our problems. We cannot be expecting diaspora and money to come solve our problems. What about our hands, our brains, our minds? Our ancestors didn't wait for anyone, any organization. It did not exist then to come fight their wars for them. When they encountered problems, they put their hands, their minds, their people at work. We have 10 million of us. We need to get to work. We need to work with people who are honest, not flamboyancy, not patrollers, not politicians. This is not about politics. This is about our lives. This is about killing. This is about deaths. It's about our livelihood being taken away from us. We cannot compromise. We cannot be playing games. The organizations that have been leading us, they failed us. They patrol the streets. They play politics. They dress well. And we get killed. The movement on Ground Zero for the liberation of Ambazonia has decided that that will end in 2020. We are laying a foundation for a new beginning for all of us and this revolution. We will slowly put together the blocks and the bricks and the people that are necessary to pursue our goals till we achieve them. We will do it slowly as we have been doing it. We ask for your contribution. The fight on Ground Zero has been on the shoulders of the local people, of the common people who have nothing. But with their contributions, they have been able to use local materials to defend themselves. We are asking the rest of the community and the rest of the world to join. Support Ground Zero. Please. They are hurting because they lack support. They are willing. The young people are willing. The young people are desperate and are begging for your support. We, everywhere in the world, Ambazonians, it's time. And those that are obstructions with their organizations and doing nothing or doing very little should join the ranks of those that want to solve this problem. We will not allow compromises amongst us. We will train ourselves to be able to handle our problems and resolve it. We will create our own tools on Ground Zero. We will create our own people. We will educate our own people. We will make sure that our self-reliance will provide us a means. MOGZLA has decided to work to begin an employment process to create opportunities for our brothers and sisters back home that do not have. We will train them. We will help them. We will open markets in the United States, in Canada, in China, in Japan, and in Europe, which we have started working and negotiating with many people so that they can use our resources. We hope that by the end of 2020, we will have giant strides we would have taken. But we cannot do that alone. We ask for everyone, whether you are a wine tapper, a bricklayer, a farmer, a housewife, a doctor, scientist, a professor. It doesn't really matter whether you are a president, a leader, or whatever you are. Please, we are asking for your participation and your support. Bring your know-how, bring your finances, bring even your land that we can use it temporarily and then you can have it. If you have a lot in ground zero, there is work to be done. We will not wait for the war to finish. We will not wait for anyone to come help us. We will begin work as MOGZLA has begun since months ago. We will continue to improve on it. And your participation will only help make things better for us. To conclude, we want to send a message to La République du Cameroon, to Paul Biya, and to France. We are not compromisers. We are not foolish. We are not wicked. We are a people whom have been oppressed, distressed, and tormented by you. We chose out of good faith to join our brothers of La République so that we can form one people, marry among us, have children among us, create communities that will be violent and solid among us. You choose to exploit us. You choose to cheat in the marriage. You choose to corrupt the marriage. You choose to hurt us. You choose to kill our young people. You choose to re-educate us to be corrupt, to be wicked, to be evil, to be inconsistent. You gave us all the bad poison that society should not give to its people. You hurt us. Most of our families, our brothers, our sisters, our friends are in strange lands. We are scattered all over the world as if we are Jews. You destroyed everything that could make us people. We gave you 60 years to fix it. It became 60 years of hell. Now we have lost thousands of our young people, dozens of thousands of our people. Hundreds of thousands have been displaced, and you are still killing us. You are burning our villages as we are talking. You are burning our food as we are talking. You are destroying and staining our land with blood. You are killing more of our youth. You are raping our children. You are lying to the international community about us. You are saying all types of evil things. You are programming us for failure and programming our people that have even run out here for hurt. Even though we left home, you are still pursuing us right out here and wanting the governments that are holding us and keeping us safe to hurt us. Paul Biya, France, and La République du Cameroon, that's what you are doing to Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonians. That's why we are resisting. We are not fighting. We are resisting you. We have not started fighting because if we were fighting, we will be in Yaoundé, Douala, Bafoussam, Kongsamba, Ibolova, everywhere and attacking you there. We have not done that. We are defending ourselves in our own territory. We are, for the last time, asking you to stop. This 2020 will not be well with you if you do not cease killing our people. We are also asking the international community, especially the United Nations, to evaluate very carefully what has happened in 3 years and to understand that the people of Southern Cameroonians whom United Nations handed to France and La République du Cameroon are being oppressed, are being killed, are being pursued right in their own homes and macheted and shot and destroyed. And that genocide is taking place. It is incumbent on the United Nations and its agencies involved, including United States and the rest of the countries that are seriously involved in the conflict, to pressure Paul Biya, La République du Cameroun, and France to stop the genocide and the destruction of our livelihood. We will continue to defend ourselves until we have our freedom. We will continue to assert our liberties, our independence, our traditions, customs, spirituality, and way of life. And henceforth, we will not compromise anything that the universal creator, our ancestral God, has given to mankind and given to us. Our abilities, art, music, and everything that we have created, we will not compromise it. If we cannot improve it, we will keep what it is, we will use it for ourselves.